Welcome to another episode of Pucknology After Dark Live. I am joined by the usual suspects, AJ Strong,
Chris JWS.
and my usual walk and talk buddy when we actually are at the games. Say hello to Gentry.
Gentry Alexander, J Alexander 46 on Twitter.
All right, so we got the four fans in here tonight, and we will talk about tonight's game. The Sharks won 3-2 over the Arizona Coyotes. Great victory tonight. A nice, solid victory. Nothing to worry about, I think. Bunch of things to talk about as McCollum changes up the lines a little bit tonight. But we'll go around the horn here. We'll start off with Chris. Your thoughts tonight on this win?
Overall, to me, it kind of was. It's one of those wins. It's the game you're supposed to win. It was a bad team. It wasn't like they didn't blow them away or anything like that, but they did exactly what they had to do. They went in there, they got a win, they got out. Didn't look spectacular, didn't look bad. We can dive more into the details, but I think that's my overall impression is, a good, nice, solid win. There's a few little things here and there that kind of went one way or another, that good, bad, but overall, just, it's exactly what they needed to do.
AJ?
I pass. I'm just, I don't know. I was kind of like, I don't know. I was expecting more out of the team for some reason. I assumed there would be a little more fight after getting your ass kicked by St. Louis, and then, seeing the Rangers come to town and kind of hand it to you pretty easily. I was expecting a little more fire, but like you said, you got the win. I'd like to see when Stalock's going to get another look again.
Definitely dive into that later on.
Yeah. Interesting seeing Hurdle at the center position tonight. I don't know how much ice time he got. I can't, being on the fourth line, I can't assume it was too much, but he looked good, and hey, he got a goal finally, and the really nice thing to see out of it was the fact that, it was essentially a shot pass on the back door, which I don't think the Sharks try to do nearly enough, especially on the power play. But, hey, got the win, and bring on the wilted leaves, I guess.
Yeah. Wilted and battered. Gentry, your thoughts?
I think everybody else has kind of said it. It was a solid win against an opponent that's been beaten and not that great, but it was nice to see the Sharks actually get a win over a weaker team, because we kind of see the Sharks playing to their opponent's level, and it's always backfired against them. So it was nice to see. And also, against a former Bay Area goalie, Devin Dubnyk of the Stockton Thunder, so FYI. Great to see it. And also great to see, the formation of what I like to call the Schneid line with Nieto and Marlowe.
And they got unlucky again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no kidding.
Come on. But otherwise,
collective bad luck together right there.
Isn't it kind of sad that other than Thornton, it's like the Schneid is on Marlowe and Nieto? It's like, and as NBC is quick to remind us, a Long Beach native, Matt Nieto. So.
Oh yes, you can't say Matt Nieto without mentioning where he's from.
Right? Yeah, no.
But man, this is God. If this isn't Marlowe's longest Schneid, I don't know when it was, but I tweeted out a couple days ago, where it's like, if he goes any longer, they might as well just name the California drought after Marlowe. This is bad, man.
He'll be on Twitter all week, folks.
Wasn't there like a time in like 06, 07 when he was like on a drought like this, and everybody was saying move him and trade him, get some value out of him?
I would think so.
But not. I think this is one
it's happened a lot. That's scary.
He's had his droughts, but I think that tonight kind of exemplifies once again. He got really unlucky again. Like that should have, and he should have got. I believe he would have had a point on that, or
would have had an assist on that play.
But at the very least, a plus and then all that. But yeah, it seems like him and Nieto are just kind of snake bitten at the moment. But Gentry raised a really good point a second ago. we should not underestimate how big it is to beat a bad team for the Sharks, because really, all year long, that really, I mean, if you go back and look at their record, how many teams, if they were just like 500 against all the terrible teams, they'd probably have a better record right now.
Yeah.
So that cannot be underestimated how big that is.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
Let's not blame Nieto too much for being on the schneid, because he did get a goal tonight. It was just called. It was just waved off because somehow that damn net. Funnily enough,
It was kind of the Jonathan Quick elbow bump, or like a little, oops, did I do that?
To me, it was very Marty Turco-esque.
I was going to go Dwayne Rollison when he magically had his mask fall off every morning in the '06 playoffs. Well, I'll ask you guys this: do you think, and let there be some circumstances where it can't be, do you think that could be a delay of game penalty in the near future for the league?
I'm sorry, Eric. That sounds like a question for the false dichotomy segment later.
oh, my bad. We can't wait.
If
This is gonna be fun.
If it was Nemo or Stalock who did that, it would have been a delay of game, a 10-minute misconduct, and a 4-game suspension for Rafi Torres.
Hashtag Sharks luck.
Exactly.
That does seem. Yeah, we never get away with those.
No. Now with this win, you are now 20. Well, we are 23, 16, and 5. We vault back into second place. So let's do because now we're in the second half of the year, guys. We can start saying this. If the playoffs were to end today, or if the season ended today, we would be in the playoffs. We would have home ice, and guess who we would play against?
No.
Yes,
Not
the
again.
defending Stanley Cup champion Kings.
No, not again. No.
Yes, those pesky Los Angeles Kings.
Let us hope Kopitar gets injured like he did in 2010, or no, it was 2011, where he was out for because that was the only reason why we won that first time against him.
Oh wait! I'm sorry. Did Kopitar like chomp on a nut or something, or whatever raccoons eat?
Let's put it this way, guys. You can't say anything bad about Kopitar because we passed on him for Devin Setaguchi in the 05 draft.
Yeah. And look how well that's been for us. I mean, it did get us Brent Burns, so I mean, can't really complain.
True, but
yeah, we know. We keep talking about the what ifs, but
yeah, with the draft, I try not to go too much into what ifs. I mean, every team ever can be accused of passing on players, so that's how it goes.
And go over this fairly quick, but how the heck did Joe Pavelski score that goal? I guess he literally went underneath Dubnik's underarm. I mean,
the power of America.
That's
how he did it.
Or how I like to call Captain Finmerica.
No, I think it was one of those. It was a shot on goal, which is something that we need to see the Sharks do more. It was a shot on goal, and look what happened. It goes past the goalie and into this mystical thing called the net. I think that's what the Sharks need to start doing is, instead of for every 4 or 5 passes in a shot on goal, they should be firing it twice with maybe a pass. So.
Yeah, and they also what was one of the other goals they got by having someone in front of the net in hurdle.
Yeah, all 3 goals were a key thing. Brendan Dillon's shot was just a quick little throw at the net. It deflects up Zbigniew Mahalik. Wait, that's the brother of former Shark Milan Mahalik. Back to you.
Native of where? Native of where? Wait, no. Do we not do that with him?
Czech Republic?
I don't know. We do Long Beach native with Nieto, so.
Well, you know what? Filipula still can't catch Milan Mahalik, so we'll keep it there.
Oh boy.
Ray?
Are you here? No. Oh boy.
Hey,
But yeah,
John.
I mean, but Brandon Dillon just throwing I think I missed something here.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Guys,
Chris Townsend.
yeah, you guys need to fill Gentry on our little sports talk rant.
Oh yeah, we'll do that offline. We'll save that for another show. I'm sure we can put
Oh,
a
Take it
lot of time on
offline.
that.
You've been working late or something, AJ. Take that offline. That's some serious business speak from you.
That's true. Yeah, it was a long day today. What are you gonna do?
Anyway,
oh, you guys.
All right, so now the question: how did Nemo look tonight? Thoughts?
I mean, he had his good moments. He was really good moments. I wouldn't say overall spectacular, but I'd say overall pretty solid. I can't really fault him for either of those goals too much. Like I thought overall, he wasn't really outstanding or terrible either way.
Agreed.
I agree
Come
too.
on,
I
AJ.
think
You need a little more than that, man.
Don't get me started on Nemo. We'll be here all day, man. I'm just I've never been that big of a fan of him. I think his recovery time leaves a lot to be desired. I like the way Staylock plays the puck a lot better. He seems more confident, more in control. Staylock to me seems a little calmer back there, even when the shit storm is coming. I don't know. For me, Staylock feels like a guy who's a little more comfortable. I would. Not that I'm wishing injury by any means, but like if Niemi could get like the mumps for maybe 2 weeks and we could see like Staylock and Grosnick split some time. I don't know. I like it. I've been saying it. I've been pounding the drum since the start of the season. Now's the time to trade. Make a move with Niemi. Let Staylock and Grosnick go.
I hear Minnesota needs a goaltender.
Oh, there's 3 or 4 people that do.
You mean
apparently
see what
after
happens.
tonight.
And we do love trading with Minnesota.
Yeah, the Minnesota
do.
Sharks, Wild
Right.
Sharks. That's what we ended up calling them.
To this, I'll ask you: could you possibly get more for a trade by trading Staylock than you would with Niemi?
Yes, but why would you? That's the question. I mean, why would you want to trade Staylock, who is a Sharks? He was born in our farm system. He's been really solid for us, and we kept him through injury. Why would we trade him now? I feel like you would get a nice little addition. You just have to trade him. You'd have to trade Nemo to the right team, and I mean, Toronto definitely needs goaltending, and I feel like you can get a first-round pick from them because you know how they love giving around first-round picks to everyone. So, I mean, I'd like to see Nemo go, and I'd like to see them find because at the beginning of the off season we were talking about we're a team of tomorrow, and we're gonna let the younger guys take in. We're gonna reestablish the culture of the dressing room, and so far it's been business as usual.
I would say yes to an extent. I've been pretty critical of their changes. I think they are a little too much in between, but we have seen at least some pushing forward of the younger talent at the very least. I mean, or it could just be very fortunate timing for them that a lot of young guys are coming through right now and making an impact. But at least there's that. But I tend to agree. We need, they are kind of like somewhere like, are we rebuilding? Are we not? What are we? Don't really know what we're doing.
And that's the key issue here is now we are into mid-January. You are in the middle of a playoff race. And where do you go? I mean, you can say rebuild and just be all lackadaisical, but now you're in a playoff race where you're going to go into the playoffs, and you essentially now have 2 fourth lines. So, what are we going to? What do you guys think they should do?
Less John Scott, less Mike Brown. No, hey, we won without John Scott, the world's greatest rabbit's foot tonight. That fourth line was pretty impressive tonight, actually.
Yeah.
I was looking at the numbers kind of behind it. They actually they were all like plus 13 or 14 shots while on the ice. Shots against, shots for, which is pretty impressive possession. Although they started only like 12% of their zones in their shift in the defensive zone, so they were playing protected zone time. But still, I've seen him do similar deployments with that John Scott, Mike Brown, Desjardins monstrosity, and start them constantly in the offensive zone all night long, and they still get outshot. So that plus to them, they got good deployment, and they took advantage of it. So that they had a pretty good night tonight.
Now,
Go ahead, Gentry.
I was gonna say, what do you guys think was the best line for tonight? Like, who do you think? Which line combination was the best?
Not the line that Marlowe was on.
The snake bite line. I would say overall, I would have to give it either Pavelski's line or to the fourth line we just mentioned there. I think those two had the two best nights for different reasons. One played tougher minutes, but they got it. They were effective, and the other one played pretty easy minutes, but they took advantage of those really well. So I think it's hard to say which one was better.
Yeah, it's always nice to have options, and with tonight, you can kind of see those options coming into play. Is it a line that you're going to have every game? Probably not. I would think you're going to need to have some toughness in there. Although they had a lot of hits in this game, which is nice to see because they've gone away from that in the last few games. So I don't think any of you guys are season ticket holders, right?
Not currently.
Not currently. Okay. Apparently, we'll thank Five for favoriting on Twitter, our good friend Ken. Apparently, they got an email invoice about season tickets, their first installment being due in March for the 2015-16 season. And I'll ask you guys this because I was going on with Randy Yo. Yeah.
Run this by me again one more time.
Apparently, they've already have said that they will be sending out invoices soon for your first payment of 2015-16 season tickets for next year.
Get the fuck out of here! You have got to be out of your mind.
My guess
is that my guess is that they're trying to get it out now in case they miss the playoffs.
Either that or it was.
Yep.
I'm thinking it's a typo. I think it was supposed to be for playoff invoices, not the following year.
Oh, I don't know. For those of you who are just seeing this for the first time, I'm a little bit of the pessimist of the group. But anyway, go ahead. I mean, you've got to be kidding me! Sending that out now? Come on, if that's not a typo, then to me that is nothing more than a little bit of panic on their part. Is that if they miss the playoffs, that I mean, come on, because you're not going to be. You obviously can't, bump the rates. You can't bump the prices, especially. When have you ever seen a team miss the? Well, at least the Sharks. When have you seen the Sharks miss the playoffs and they actually bump the season ticket prices? Like never.
What do you mean they can't bump the price? I'm pretty sure they can bump the price. It would not surprise me at all.
No, they
miss the playoffs or not. I expect it, honestly.
No, they can, but typically if they miss the playoffs, typically they don't bump the price. And let's be honest, they've had 10 years of playoffs where they've been able to
Mm-hmm. And they've even had that one year where I think they were so bummed about being eliminated from Anaheim that they said, we're not going to increase the tickets for next year.
That was the President's Trophy year?
Yeah, and going into 09-10. I look at it this way. Maybe they're finally noticing that they have a rival just a few minutes north of them that they're going to play in their stadium in a month or so. That they have to get their invoices out for the Niners. I know the Niners season tickets those, I think their first payment is actually near the end of the month, and so you want to maybe jump on the bandwagon now that they've had a rough year.
You really think that there's that many, either co-season ticket owners of the Niners or the Sharks, or that there's a group that are trying to debate which one we should get?
I think there is. I think there is some, because I think a lot of people fell off last year after the Sharks had their playoff collapse, and they went, "Hey, I can go over to Levi's, brand new stadium."
How'd that work out for you?
Yeah, I think they lost that one.
But I think that was the point, was that why would I put in money where I can't make too much money off of hockey tickets? I mean, some of these might be brokers too, and jump over there along with.
Or
go ahead, Jen.
Or it could be that they're trying to gauge the interest because, I mean, it is a big season for them next year. It is the 25th season, so they're trying to gauge the interest. And maybe they'll be trying to do bigger promotions if they can get enough season ticket holders back. So there could be that. So hopefully it comes down to that, because I'd like to see a preferable third alternate jersey that's not black.
Oh, and I think Gentry might have taken us into our first one. Shall we go?
Oh, yes! All right.
Oh.
Okay. Our first question for tonight. Get your buzzers out, kids.
All right.
All right.
Big
Let's
bucks, no
see
whammies.
here. Yeah, big bucks, no whammies.
I'm sorry, big bucks, no Browns.
There you go.
Yeah, no big bucks, no brownies.
All right. Your question is, what is the biggest mistake the Sharks have made since John Tortora has taken over this team?
I would ding in, but I can't decide.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Not signing Dan Boyle.
No. That's
I'm sorry. You know what? Not enough people responded to that one. Try again.
Man, I will go.
Dude, that's a hard question. That's a legitimately hard question. Like,
it's a hard question, and you know what? Gentry, I would say, probably got the number 2 answer. We're looking for the number 1 right now.
I'm going to say getting rid of Drew Remenda.
And that would be it. Ding, 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 ding.
Yes! Tell me what I win, AJ.
we should do like this, like Family Feud style, where like number 1 answer on the board. And yeah.
Okay, well, I'll have to download that theme song. But anyway, I mean, so far we've got, not signing. Not that Tortora has anything to do with Boyle, but we all know that Tortora has something to do. Well, we know he has everything to do with Drew Remenda. But under his, under his overseeing, we've added Ice Girls, we've added the CGI banners behind the nets, and now we're sending out season ticket BS, before the season, so you're like, get the hell out of here. I mean, I have yet, you know what the bigger question would have been, and we would have been here all night waiting for an answer? Name the one positive thing that has happened that Tortora has had anything to do with. Go ahead, Eric.
I'll say landing the Stadium Series.
Yeah, that's what I always said.
Yeah, okay.
It's something. I mean, it's going to get us on national television, going to get us a big game, so that is something.
Yeah. Although, okay, now, question number 2. What venue should the Stadium Series be held at? Levi's, Stanford, or AT&T?
Ding!
Go ahead, Gentry.
AT&T.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
But I was gonna say I can agree on that, but it's probably because they thought the Niner Stadium would probably be a bigger hit than it ended up being.
Of course, it's going to be a bigger hit. It's the newer crown jewel, and I can see it that because of its, location, in correlation with the Shark Tank. What are we talking? Like not even 10 miles away. So
yeah, I think it's like a 10-minute drive from the tank to Levi's.
And capacity probably had something to do with it.
But here's the bigger question: which park or which stadium has more of a correlation with winning championships and being mediocre?
Well, dude, the building's been around for a year, bro. I mean, come
Still.
on.
I mean, that's not a good way to debut, your
Jesus.
season. That's
Neither
going
is going 8-8 and shitting the bed on Thanksgiving.
But
I mean,
hey,
come
when the
on.
Sharks
Yeah.
when the Sharks debuted at SAP Center, guess what? They made the playoffs. Why? Just saying. I mean, that's a good way to debut.
They didn't debut at SAP Center. They debuted at San Jose Arena.
Yeah.
Sorry, but
Yes.
same location, different.
We're on our 10th name right now. Yeah.
I would bet though that probably capacity had something to do with that decision because I think AT&T would have been I maybe up to 50 at the most versus Levi's they could pack as many as they can sell in there.
Yeah.
And it's got the whole shiny new, but I think it would have been awesome to have like the shot of the ice surface, and then you can look out and see the bay. That just would have been a sick shot.
Also, it would have been way easier to get to. You could have taken Bart to the game, and also and trying to escape from San Francisco opposed to trying to escape from Santa Clara wouldn't be that much of a hassle, compared to trying to get out of Levi's, which I've heard is a nightmare. So
I've done it twice. It actually wasn't as bad as I heard.
Really?
That's at least my experience.
Well, the Stadium Series is going to be the first time I've ever been to Levi's, so we'll see.
Outside us being turf gurus, though, Gentry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot our Turf Gurus, debut.
For those who don't know, me and Gentry were interviewed by ABC7. We were just randomly going into the Niners store, and we were interviewed by someone that, are we going to watch the friendly?
It was
like
soccer
Mexico friendly. Are we going to watch the soccer game solely to see to make sure that the grass will be okay and nobody gets hurt?
Oh man, if there was any more time for a fucker writing a pussy part on TV, that would have been it right there. Give me a fight with these lame questions, man. Come on.
Like, are you going to be watching it? It's like, no. I really wanted to say, no, it's soccer. Nobody cares.
God.
If I wanted to see a dive meet, I'd watch a Vancouver Canucks game.
Oh.
Hi-yo!
Bam.
You're welcome.
Okay, AJ, I think we need a new question here.
Great, I got the giggles.
Are you out of questions here?
No, what the hell do you think I've been working on while you guys have been jabbing it away? Okay, so, all right, I'm going to give you 5 different options, or this is the key question. You can write in your own most memorable goal. Okay, I'm going to give you 5, but you can write in your own. Nolan's center ice goal against St. Louis in the playoffs. That same playoff series, Mark Bergevin throwing it into the Sharks net, which is one of my personal favorites. Dan Boyle's own goal in the playoffs. I got to go both ways. Then Hurdle's 4th goal against the Rangers, or the Brian Campbell spinorama.
You left one out. You left out Vlasic's own goal again, in the St. Louis series.
That so wasn't that memorable.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
is the criteria like any goal here or just?
I said you could write in your own, but those are 5 ones that live. Like everybody remembers Baker's, Detroit, yada yada yada, but. It's like a lot of people remember Boyle's own goal, and then the very next game, redemption, where he scored the first one in the first 3 minutes or something. I mean,
it was
awesome.
On a power play. It was great.
Right, but there's going to be a lot of people that now I'm leaving the All-Star with Nolan calling a shot. I'm leaving that out because that wasn't in season, at an actual.
That wasn't in the Sharks uniform.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
but Nolan's center ice goal completely deflated the Blues at that point. I mean, what was there, 5 seconds left in the period?
Yeah, it was literally at the end of the period. That made it 2-0. That eventually became the winning goal.
Yeah, and Roman Turek
Roman
Turek looked like, somebody had just, fucked his sister without asking. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I mean, he looks so bad. I mean, it was bad.
For me, the most
By the way,
memorable goal.
this is adult viewing. By the way, how you doing?
It is after dark, so
Considering you three have are adult beverages, I mean, I thought that was already given.
I've been relatively tame, so excuse me.
Absolutely. Well, you're new.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So for me, the most memorable goal, it would be arguably Baker's, but for me, it was Marlowe over Detroit. Would have been Game 3 where they went up 3-0 on the.
Was that the shot where he was on his knee?
No, that was
No,
that was a
overtime.
2-on-1 after the bad change. The bad change.
Oh, yep.
Rush on one end, then led to a 2-on-1 on the other one.
Oh, that was
passes it over.
Did you see that? I know what you're talking about. Wasn't that the one that ended up in a GIF where they replaced the stick with a broom and he just swept it in?
No, that was against Vancouver, but no, I guess
okay.
2010, because I think we all remember how Sharks versus Detroit was for a better or more than a decade leading up to that series, and I remember that I was like that. Look at that series, like, oh, that's a death sentence. We don't beat Detroit. And
Right. Yeah, that was Game 3. It was in overtime. Somebody had shot it wide, and it just came right to Joe Thornton, and it was a 2-on-1. That was a good one, Chris, because that pretty much deflated Detroit. They got one win, and then we finished them off with. I want to say Hurdle's probably the one that was
probably
the best one.
That was the one that was heard around the world. I mean, you're doing something.
Absolutely.
You know you're doing something right when Adam Oates takes the time to bitch and whine about your goal.
that was the one that got
disrespectful. It was the most disrespectful goal we've ever scored.
Oops.
The other thing too. The other one too. Luongo, I think he tweeted out, "Oh, I hope he doesn't hurdle us. Am I doing this right?" or something like that. Yeah, I mean, that was a goal that was talked about for days. We're still talking about it. We're hoping that that offensive creativity comes back into this team. I'm going to go with two different ones, though. I'm going to go one that was kind of like hurdles and say Jonathan Chichu in the 04 semis against Colorado. That was between the legs, and that one was pretty, and that one kind of finished off Colorado to go up 2-0 on that series. The other one I want to say is the 95 Western quarters against Calgary, where Ray Whitney had a tip shot.
You mean Eric's man crush, Whitney?
It's not as much of a man crush as you with Dan Boyle.
Hey.
It was.
Wow, we just got into a really weird territory that is not normally part of this game. Just letting people know.
A little slap fight going there.
Hey, John.
Hey, John. Have you seen his wife? Anyways, go ahead.
But yeah, the Whitney one, we had just come off of the shock in Detroit. Nobody really gave us a shot against Calgary because they were a strong contender for the Cup. And here we are shocking people again. And I think that goal, along with Baker's, really made everybody say, hey, we got to take the Sharks seriously. We can't let up on these guys.
All right, Gentry?
I'm going to go for a 2 for myself. The first one I'm going to go with is Joe Pavelski's tying goal in the dying seconds of Game 2 of the 2010 quarterfinals. That seesaw game where it was like 5, it was like 4 or 5, and then, because honestly, if the Sharks would have gone down, 0-2 in that series against the Colorado Avalanche, after coming off in a dismal playoff series the previous year against the Ducks, it would have been a nightmare to see that. But Pavelski tying it within the dying seconds, and then Setaguchi's winning in that game. It was 6-5. I think the Pavelski one was just pivotal because it kept us in it, and it also kind of saved Nabokov because he was having a poor game that day. And then my second one would be Game 5, same year against the Detroit Red Wings, and it would have to be with, back when Patrick Marleau scored goals. the series ender of Patrick Marleau, that wonderful pass from Thornton, and just that wicked, one-timer on the knee, hits the back bar, and it's in.
That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. But I was going to say, I think for me, the most memorable goal, now, I really like, I don't know, the one that has really stayed with me for the longest time was Nolan's goal from center ice. But the goal that really just like gets my blood boiling is when I think about the puck sailing across the crease off of Solani's stick against. Which leads us into question 3: memorable moments.
There you go.
All right, what's your most memorable moment? Now, I have 4, but if you've got something, by all means. But the 4 that I have: number 1, Sharky stuck in the rafters.
Yes.
The Sharks game, which was the only game ever in history to be, they had postponed because of a flood.
Rained out. First rain out.
Yeah, the first rain out. Solani whiffing, right? That was a very memorable moment. Or for me, and I don't know if any of you guys remember this, but I was in a sports bar in Foster City, and I remember it like it was yesterday, and I want to say it was probably around 02, but right in the middle of it, so I'm sitting there, I'm watching the game, and all of a sudden I notice the lights up above start gently moving, and then you can hear Randy Hahn, he's like, and here comes Hannon down the board, and we are having an earthquake.
Those are all. Oh, go ahead, Ty.
No, I was just going to say, those are 4 that stick out to me as just like kind of those. Oh, to Chris will appreciate this, to kind of, I guess, rip off the awards is kind of like the what the fuck moment.
There's a bunch of them. You brought up 4 excellent ones, AJ. That was really good. For me though, there's 2. I'll leave one for Gentry because I know exactly which one he'll pick. But the one that will forever stay in my head because I just keep wondering, even to this day, what if? And that's when Johan Garpenlov hit the crossbar in Game 6 against Toronto. Because if that puck goes in, we're off to the conference finals against Vancouver, which we played very well against, and you, AJ, and me both know we could have given the Rangers a run for their money in the Stanley Cup final.
Oh yeah.
And if you thought, and another thing, since we all talk about how wonderful the radio stations here love the Sharks, if the Sharks, we'll tackle this later, but remember this question, guys. If the Sharks were to have made the Stanley Cup final in '94, would that have changed the way that the Sharks are covered? Gentry, I'm going to go over to you.
No, it wouldn't have changed how the Sharks were covered because we would have still been like, they're not a cup contender. We could have won the thing, we still wouldn't be cup contenders in the eyes of, the league and the NHL and, everybody on, NHL Network and Twitter. I mean, back in the day, we didn't have that, but we would still be haunted by that. But on my memorable moments, I'm going to have to go with one that's off the board and one that's just a personal favorite for me. The oddest moment I've ever witnessed at a Sharks game was the Marty Havlat hat trick. Yeah.
I wasn't there.
That's not the one I was thinking.
I was there for a Heatley hat trick. I was never there for
I was there for that
Havlat
one,
hat trick.
too.
As soon as you said Havlat, I'll be honest with you, I thought you were going to say, oh, memorable moment, Havlat going across the boards and, like...
injuring himself.
Yeah, I mean... Go ahead.
Yeah, that's he's our resident China doll. So fragile. Don't touch him. But I think like one of my favorite moments was that Dan Boyle coast to coast goal. That was just a thing of beauty, and you'll never see that other than Brian Campbell's spinorama little goal. But you'll never see that from another defenseman from the San Jose Sharks. I mean, maybe Burns has it in him, but I don't see that ever happening again from a defenseman for the Sharks.
All right. Would you like the third question, or should we cover some other stuff and get back?
Wait. Do I get?
Yeah, he gets
Oh,
a
you didn't
turn.
get. Oh shit!
Yeah.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ!
thanks,
Get in there.
AJ.
Get in there, buddy.
Forget I'm a bit.
Slacks.
I have two, and one's good, one's bad. The good one is I was there for Hurdle's 4-goal game, and
I hate you.
I just remember that place light like that. That was ridiculous. That was just that was probably the most amazing thing I've seen in person at the tank. I've seen a few hat tricks there though. I think I was there for 2 of Heatley's and all that, but the bad one though, I can't believe none of you mentioned this, was the infamous station in Game 5 against the Canucks. Stanchion. Yeah, we all know. I hear you all cringing right there. That's that moment.
No, I still think that doesn't sting as bad as Game 7 at SAP against the Kings.
That one's always going to hurt. The one I was going to say that I'm shocked Gentry didn't bring up because it's his least favorite goaltender wore a Sharks uniform was Toskala leading the puck away to Sitinoff as he's fresh out of the penalty box in Game 4, which completely altered the series. Just like
I didn't personally witness that though. So
I was gonna say
because otherwise I would have. But the epic Toskala fail where he got a shot past him like not once but twice from like the other end of the ice was you can't really say that was a Sharks moment.
Now you bring up something kind of cool. Is what's your most memorable? I mean you could say goal, but most memorable moment that happened when you were actually at the game.
Ooh.
All right, we'll go with Gentry first.
I already got one. That is my very first Sharks game. It was against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they were down 2-0 and going into the third, and they rallied back with goals from Patrick Marleau, first goal ever witnessed live, Craig Rivet, and a little-known player by the name of Joe Pavelski, with an assist from Jonathan Chichu.
Was that back when he was wearing 2 numbers on his jersey?
No, he was wearing number 8.
All right.
But he wasn't the household name that he became a couple seasons later.
He was just Pavelski. He wasn't the big Pavelski. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Eric.
Me, it was probably just seeing the first ever sweep of the Sharks. That was a good one. Personally, for me, when I got to drop the puck before the fan appreciation comeback, when we were down by 2 and Stewie ties the game up with 2 goals in the dying seconds and we win in overtime, that's definitely one I'll never forget. Chris?
I think you all know what mine is. Mine was when Hurdle just disrespected the fucking hell out of the fucking game. That was just atrocious.
I mean, come on.
Could you believe that?
He disrespected them so bad that Biron had to retire. Yeah,
it was horrible. It was just the worst thing I've seen in my life. It was just terrible. Did that guy really just score a 4th goal? That? I mean,
all right. I'll give you mine. Mine. I'm just talking. It has nothing to do with It has nothing to do with playoffs, putting him in the playoffs, or where it was in the game. It just has to do with how funny it was, who it was. But for me, the most memorable moment that I've had at the tank was seeing Mike Ricci get a goal on Fan Appreciation Day where they gave out hats. And just seeing you could not see the ice. It was all just black from all the crappy hats that the Sharks gave out to everybody that probably fit about 2% of the people there. But yeah, that was the perfect thing because you could see it on people's faces. I don't want this cheap piece of crap. I gotta hold this thing all day. And then all of a sudden, Mike Ricci said, "Oh, let me take care of that for you. Hold on." Boom. That was just a really fun moment because I've never seen because there have been times where I've seen a hat trick and you see some guy wearing a hat And then, like, you see a couple people around him kind of pressuring him, and then you can see on his face, he's like, I paid $30 for this motherfucking thing. I don't want to throw it out there. But everybody was, like, too quick. Like, there were, like, hats were raining down from the rafters, and people were going, yeah, get this shit out of here. Get it on the ice. Get it out of there. It was, I mean, they could have.
You know, the trick is, though, if you have. If someone has 2 goals and looks like they could get a hat trick, and you have a hat that's valuable to you, you stuff that thing in your bag right away.
There you go.
I don't have a hat.
It was awesome and hysterical at the same time because, as I was saying, hats are raining down from the rafters and people can't get them on the ice fast enough. I'm surprised that they didn't give out those hats the first game of the playoffs just as like, well, here, we don't know what the hell we're going to do with these things, but it was awesome. All right, last question for now, and then we'll get back into it. Biggest Sharks enemy. Now, I'm going to throw a couple names out there. Theo Fleury, Chris Pronger, Eddie Belfour, Steve Ott, Corey Perry. Who else you got? Or
Dustin Brown.
Okay, well,
We were
but
talking about
there's not. I don't know. I don't feel. I feel like Dustin Brown. It's one. It's like an isolated incident, kind of like with Torres. I mean, Torres had the hit on Mahalik like 8 years ago, and everybody hated him just for that one hit, where Theo Fleury was just a nightmare every single time you played him, just like Chris Pronger was. And then the bitch that Eddie Belfour became, at the end of that year when we got him, and then the constant issues with Steve Ott. I don't care whether he's playing with Dallas, he's playing with Buffalo, and then of course the endless matchups with Corey Perry and just like I'm just kind of like, come on, John. I'm just like, John, Scott, you big dopey motherfucker. This is what you were brought here for. Kick his ass just once.
Take off your skate and stab him. Come on.
Right.
That's what we brought him here for.
Get number 69. It'll be hilarious.
Yes. Waiting for somebody to make that reference.
Oh boy.
But who's the biggest enemy, or is there somebody else?
I'll let you guys go first.
Oh, and I'm sorry. Let me just preface this: the name Al Sims is not allowed.
Dang it!
Sorry.
I was going to say Dean Lombardi because after he just leaves and then he kind of goes to the rival Kings and it's his old coach that he fired and wins a Stanley Cup. But the thing with Theo and Pronger were that we liked their game so much we wish they were Sharks. And
Pronger, I would agree with you. Fleury, I'm not so sure.
I would have liked a little thumper to score and be a little pass on the ice. It would have been nice. It's something that we could use.
Let me ask you this: is it me or was Theo Fleury a slightly more physical and like it's hard to be anything but more physical when you're the size of Fleury, but slightly more physical, but a little less talented Alexander Koryuk? He had that same build, that same frame, but Corky, to me, could dance. He could stick handle in a telephone booth, but Theo Fleury had a nasty streak, and he wasn't afraid to get physical, whereas Corky wanted to be more of a finesse guy.
Right. Theo was more. I don't want to say an all-around game, but he would play both ends. Corky was basically the guy that can dangle. I would almost say he would dangle like Hurdle would, but unlike Hurdle, it was just his offensive ability, except for that one time where he fought Paul Kariya.
All right.
I'm going to have to go with two, and these are going to be kind of controversial. The biggest enemy for the San Jose Sharks are themselves and the league.
I was actually thinking of that.
I wouldn't put it past you, Chris.
Good job, guys. Good job. I'll give that credit to both of you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, because the thing is that there seems to be the stigma with this team, and that comes from the league because they label these guys they do great in the regular season, but then they choke in the playoffs. And I feel like once players start actually drafting into the Sharks, and it goes from top to bottom. Like, you can say that, we've had poor management, like, and the worst luck. I mean, how is it that you go 11-71 and whatever we went in that season and not get the number 1 pick?
True that.
Yeah, and it's just like there seems to be the stigma with this team where it's like you can't get over that hump, and you got to think, like, what is it going to take for us to be the 04, Boston Red Sox and finally beat that curse and become the elite team that we've always promised that, that we could be but never delivered upon. And also, when is the league going to start to realize it's like, okay, we could start calling some calls in favor of the Sharks? We don't have to be so blatant when it comes to, like, let's say that infamous Game 4 where it should have been goaltender interference and that goal was allowed on Alex Stalock. I mean,
hey, to play devil's advocate, we got one the other day where the Rangers, come on, that puck that was in the net on the Emmy, but they took them forever to call Toronto, but they gave it to the Sharks. They said no goal, but let's be honest, that was a goal.
But that wasn't in a pivotal playoff game against.
Well, okay, I'll give you that.
Against an NBC favorite, which is just like the Kings, New York. It's just so exciting.
Can you even imagine how pissed off the NFL is that the Dallas Cowboys are not going just because of the ratings?
Nah, that's
you know what? They can blame themselves for that because that should have been a catch.
Oh, well, I agree with you.
Green Bay and Seattle is going to get some ratings, but I'm going to say I'll pick the other enemy of the Sharks, who is not it's not actually a person either.
Oh, John Turturro?
Yeah, no, not quite. But honestly, it's luck. Other than like the one series I can think of when I was like, man, the Sharks got all the breaks. It was that one Vancouver series, that one sweep they ever got. It's like, yep, pretty much like the pucks are bouncing their way, the calls are going their way. Every time they needed something to go their way, it went their way. Like, it's like the Giants, like when they've been in the postseason their last 2 championship runs all the time. It's like
that's a great comparison.
Whenever they need it, it's like suddenly like someone gets a big hit. It's a product partially of the people as well, but it's just. I mean, name me one time in the postseason when the last 3 where the Giants had bad luck, where you say that was bad luck.
Yeah. No,
I mean they've had the freaky bounces off bases, that broken bat that hit the ball 3 times. Just all those freaky plays that could go either way, just every time fell their way. Like the Vancouver series, that's the one time I can say actually like man, we caught every break. Well, maybe the Detroit one in 2010 when we went up 3-0 and then we ended up winning 5-1 or sorry 4-1.
We won the series 4-1 and then it was like that game 5, like, and I agree with that, is luck hasn't been on the Sharks side, and I kind of wish that like I wish it didn't deflate the team. It's like, okay, the bounces don't go your way, but why have that? But you just work 10 times harder. Just to make sure that it does happen, that the mistakes aren't made again. And but I will say that like that series when we how is it that we were so lucky that puck trickled right past Luongo and Marlowe just happened to be there and just been like, oop, okay, it's in, we tied it. Because I thought for sure I was like, oh god, here we go again, not again.
Yeah,
or
it's actually Schneider.
Game 2 or Game 3, I don't remember which one. I think it was Game 2 when Burns and Torres got that really nice breakaway in overtime. That was Game 2, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that just everything kind of. They got outplayed in that game. I remember that, and I remember then that thing manifesting like that was kind of just nice ending. Is like, okay, things are going our way, but that I've always been a big believer, and well, actually, everything pretty much backs up is anyone who wins championship. They usually caught a lot of breaks. They're either that good, usually not the case because it's hard to be that dominant, or they catch they're good but they catch a lot of breaks as well. Like they're good and everything goes whenever they need something to go their way, it goes their way, and that just seems to be the case. I mean, you were the Ravens a couple of years ago when they won the Super Bowl when Packers won the Super Bowl a couple years ago. It's like
Yeah.
every time they needed a break, it was just there. And so that's my number one Sharks enemy, luck.
Yeah, and I think to go with what you and Gentry said, it's a psychological thing too, and I think all of us can relate to that. That this team has just not recovered after it's down in the dumps. We can all remember 07 when the Sharks were 30 seconds away from going up 3-1 on the Red Wings, and then they allow the tying goal, and then just a poor bad luck, cleared by Reveille, sends him to the box. They lose on the power play goal. They were never the same after that. And I remember going into Game 6 in San Jose, and it was like a funeral had hit. We had already known they were done. And you always have that. You should always have that. I believe. But as a fan base to know that you are pretty much done is awful. I think the same thing would be for last year when we were all of a sudden, tied with LA 3-3 going to Game 7. Yeah, Game 7 was here at home, but there was something about the Kings and how the Sharks had played the last 3 games that just you just kind of prepped yourself for the inevitable.
Well, I think that when you go into the game and you're already wearing black, it fits the mood.
Yeah, well, okay, you know what? What a perfect fucking segue. All right.
Yes.
So,
good job,
The
Jen.
luck is on my side.
now, okay, here's another round robin question or round table question. Biggest, well, okay, at least in your eyes, and I have a few, but biggest stupid freaking decision that the Sharks and the organization as a whole, we don't know that Tortora is making all of these choices, but the dumbest thing that you've seen happen, and I have a list, and you can add your own if you like. I'm going to go
You really bring the positivity tonight, AJ.
Yeah, you know what? It's just been one of those weird days.
Dude, we did win tonight, in case you didn't.
Oh, that's right. We did win.
We did win. I mean,
Okay. Well, yeah, we're still not in the first, goddammit. All right, so
boy.
I'm going to go, hey, you know what? If you want the brass ring, you got to reach for it. Okay, so.
That's right.
All right. My list of biggest, dumbest Sharks, what the hell were they thinking? Now, the first one, I'm a little on because, you know what, things do have to change a little bit, but changing the intro song. For the longest time, for as long as I could remember, the Sharks always came out to 2 Unlimited's Get Ready for This. Mm-hmm. And it got the group pumped and everything like that. And then, after however many years, I want to say about 10 or 11 years or something, then they finally decided to try to change it up. And there was a track, I can't remember what the name of the group was called. I think it was called Man Break or whatever. But for a season, they tried to come out to a track called Ready or Not.
Yep.
Which was a decent song, but you saw people clapping. They're like, "Wow, okay, who the hell does this song? What the hell is it?" There was just no recollection, and I can't remember what they tried to do between that and then eventually settling on Seek and Destroy. But it seemed like there was a brief time where every time I went to the tank, there was a new intro song. They were just trying, throwing shit at the wall, seeing what stuck. And I'm fine with Seek and Destroy. I always get a kick out of it when I'm watching a road game and the opposing team plays it over their PA. You're just kind of like, hey, good looking out, bro.
Yeah.
So, but that's one of the things that I'm hoping for next season for the 25th anniversary, that, whether they decide to make it a Thursday night thing with the black jersey thing, and we'll get to that in a second. The black jersey thing, get rid of that, and on Thursday nights, wear the retro unis with, and come out to get ready for this. I think would be really cool. Second Sharks screw up. Remember when for a season they tried to use Green Day whenever they scored a goal?
Mm-hmm.
Holiday.
My God. Oh my God. I have never seen 17,562 people more confused in my life.
Hey?
Yeah, everybody. Hey, and everybody went, wait, what? Did we miss something? Yeah, it was like, did we miss a memo? Was there something that was in the
Hey,
mail
Vancouver
that we
has
forgot
that
about?
now. Vancouver
Oh.
took that.
Either way, though, it was like that was such a. I mean, and obviously there was a big enough, outpour or whatever that they changed it back after a season of what the hell happened there. So okay, let me blow through these because I'm taking too long, and you guys got to get to yours. The end of the 4 in the net pizza you get. That is a huge one to me because you don't know how many times I had free lunch on those assholes, and now I can't remember the last time I saw a free taco. To be honest with you, it pisses me off. And probably one of my biggest pet peeves, it's number 2, and that would be the addition when they changed the logo 7 or 8 years ago and they added orange. To me, that was like, that's number 2. That's 1B actually. It's not 1A, but it's 1B. That was the dumbest decision. Hiring John Tortora, number 3. Black unis in the playoffs probably fit with number 4, but my all-time number 1, I think, pet peeve, which could be fixed very simply. Why do we have banners that say Western Conference regular season champions? Those have to be the dumbest fucking things on the planet.
Because we have to say something.
You won nothing. You won nothing.
Something that says champions on there that
You
doesn't
won
say
nothing.
The champion.
We're the champions of something.
It's no.
You know what it is? It's like the gold star. You tried.
That's it. It should be like, instead of hanging those 2 retarded banners, they should have tacked like a little 8x10 piece of paper, participation piece of paper that they give you in 3rd grade. Just stuck one on everybody's locker and said, "You participated in a really good season. Fuck you." I mean,
gold
give me
star.
Yeah, gold star, because, I mean, put a little scratch and sniff sticker on it, that's fine. But, I mean, come on, those banners are ridiculous.
Now, let's be honest here.
Oh, you don't think I have been so far?
No. The Sharks aren't the only one that has regular season champion banners.
Pretty much any team that hasn't won the cup that's done anything else has those.
Detroit has those.
Detroit's won shit.
Detroit,
really? They do?
Yeah, I'm looking.
Yeah, I think they've won a few.
They've won a few.
They've won a lot, yeah.
But
they're not in our conference anymore. It doesn't matter.
But my point is that if you wonder where they got this idea from for the regular season champion conference banner, you can look to Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit has those, and I think.
Well, we've always tried to model ourselves after Detroit, so.
Right.
For the longest time.
So,
well, that's
anyway, keep going. I'm sorry.
Like New Jersey or Detroit. Those are the 2.
Yeah.
And those are great ones to pick right now. Because New Jersey's in the craps. You're trying this it's like almost having offensive and defensive coordinators, and then having your president and GM be your head coach.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say, if you want my fails, because I think that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Mine are more not really aesthetic as much as mostly it's the thing that our insistence on signing terrible scrub, barely 4th liners, and putting out like so-called energy lines. It was really nice to get a break from that tonight. Sure. And hey, look what happens when we have a 4th line that's capable of doing anything. That was actually kind of nice. It's just our insistence to sign the Adam Burrishes, John Scotts, Mike Browns of the world, and trading for scrubs. Just, I don't understand our personnel policy when it comes to the bottom 6. That's probably my biggest pet peeve, because I think that's ultimately what's been a big part of our undoing in the playoffs year over year, is when the pucks aren't falling for the top 6, we have no bottom 6 whatsoever to speak of. Then second would be our just inability to draft on defense. Like, our blue line's thin right now, and as AJ has pointed out many times, well, we've drafted 1 all-star
defenseman. Yep.
1 all-star defenseman. But it still stands. our ability to draft defense. I mean, we've been terrible with depth players. Oh, we've had depth players. That's the frustrating part about that. But we've had depth players. We don't use them when we have them, and then just the defense. We just don't seem to know how to draft on defense. So my pet peeves are a little less on the aesthetic side and more on the personnel side. Because I don't think what we do on the ice is as big of a problem as how we're stocking the cupboard half the time.
Gentry, you recall?
I'd say one of the biggest fails was from, I think it was like last season, the explanation for the new, next wave jerseys, where it's like, these jerseys right here are too heavy for the players to wear in the playoffs. It weighed them down. So we made them basic without any design whatsoever. Watching that video of watching Wilson, it's like, well, it's gonna, we've lessened the pipe, and I'm like, so you take away design, and you take away they look like glorified practice jerseys, and then you start to think, well, the Sharks pretty much just use regular season as a practice anyway, so it makes sense. But then you redesign the jerseys, and then you still go with black armor in the playoffs.
Thank you.
So it pretty much negates everything that you've done for that reason.
You know what that thing with those jerseys made you think of was those in late night commercials, like those infomercials, or Don't you just hate it when you're trying to open a jar and it flies out the window and kills your neighbor? Well, use our new jar opener.
You always have to preface it.
No, the ear vacuum that we saw on NHL Network for forever. Or
the new things the Sharks are pushing, or the Sharks sponsored. No, or the new things that the Sharks are pushing is put this, vibrating thing on your couch, and it shakes your couch as if you're at the game.
No, I was thinking of Chappelle show, shake yo couch, shake yo couch.
No, I was waiting for Chris to just throw out the whole, there's gotta be a better way.
Or the Bullmore Lanes girl.
Oh God.
There's gotta be a better way.
No, I think between that and then some of the things where it's just well, Doug Wilson come out saying we want players who want to play here and not just live here. Hold up, we're not going to re-sign Boyle. We're going to keep Hannon.
Well, apparently it sounds like Boyle wants to live here. I mean, we can probably jump into the Dan Boyle thing next after this, but
Yeah. But it's it's the hypocrisy of it all, where it's we want players who want to be here, we want players who want to step up, and so far it's just they haven't done anything to restore confidence and even in themselves. And I feel when Doug Wilson was kind of coming out, he's when he tried to paint the bullseye on Thornton and Marlowe, he was gonna hope that, well, maybe if they get enough pressure for them to leave, they'll waive their no movement clauses that I signed them, that I signed to them, that I agreed to that when I gave them a 3-year extension. Smart move.
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't the extension that was bad. It was the no trade clause that was bad, because you look at what he did with how he flipped Demers and how he flipped Setaguchi. Signed him to extensions and then almost immediately turned around and flipped him. It's the damn no trade clauses. You look at L.A., I think they have 1, and the Sharks have 9. That's the problem.
Well, they didn't give themselves wiggle room like what they did with with Danny Heatley. And honestly, that Seto Burns trade, I think we gave up a little too much. We should have given them, Setaguchi in the first rounder. We shouldn't have given up on Coyle.
Nope.
But we should have kept that. But
yep.
But we needed help on defense, and then we took Burns, and then he became a forward for 2 seasons, and that worked phenomenally. And then we moved back to defense. Like I said, we're schizophrenic when it comes to our organization. But anyhow.
Well, you know what? You brought up something that I think is a really good point. Is what did we all think about the return of Danny Boyle? Dan mother-pucking Boyle.
There you go.
We'll let Gentry go last on this, because I'm sure he's going to get emotional and hold us all up. But
no, we have to go first so he can go rub one out, and then we can get back to it.
You go like Terrell Owens here on us.
No, I think.
I noticed you are wearing the Ass jersey there.
Yeah. Okay, so my appreciation, not love, but my appreciation to Dan Boyle. Shut up, Eric.
Sorry. Go ahead, Gentry.
Hold on, you know what? While we're talking, just for a second, let me point this out.
Yeah.
That I've noticed this. Like, I was just getting a giggle out of. Like, I'm looking at Chris, I'm looking at me, and we're both just basically wearing shirts, and you got Gentry wearing the jersey. Whereas earlier, when Eric was leaning back, it looked like you were wearing the most colorful and most comfortable Snuggie I've ever seen in my life.
What, this? Oh.
When you were like leaned back, it's like,
This?
man, no. I'm talking about the jersey you're wearing, just because it's not a jersey you normally see. And when you couldn't see the crest, it just like in my mind, I'm going, God, where can I find a Snuggie like that, or a Slanket, or whatever the hell you call those things? But
anyway, Dan Boyle.
Dan Boyle, go ahead, Eric.
I thought that the tribute was nice. And the fact that he did get mostly a standing ovation, at the tank was nice, and he did acknowledge everybody and waved. But I felt like my impression was I was really hoping he was going to score a goal.
Me too.
Because I was really hoping that he would then turn towards where Wilson sits and kind of give him the finger or the suck it and just be like, "You kept Hannon over me. What's up?
Yeah,
how you guys doing?"
Yeah, but see, I mean, you can make that. I guess you can kind of try to make that that debate, but it's like, okay, Hannon, 1 year, $1 million versus Boyle, who was going to have to. What did he get in New York? Because I don't think he would have. He got 1.5.
No, 4.5, and it was a 2-year
for 2
deal.
years. But that's not 4.5 per year?
Yeah, that's 4.5 per year.
Oh, well then, yeah, there was no way that he was. Honestly, I don't even know if maybe Wilson would have did $5 million for 1 year, but it seemed like Wilson was really hung up on 1 year, not 2.
Well, I think Wilson's thinking there. I mean, I've kind of gone through a couple times in my head here. I think his thinking there was, 1 year that much. If the bottom falls out and he's done, it's 1 year, it's off the books right away. I think his worry was strapping himself with another $4 to $5 million for next year. Because it would say if the worst thing happens in 20 games into the season this year, he's just he's done.
But
imagine that was his worry.
But imagine having that added security. Let's say the Burns move back to defense doesn't work. You still got Dan Boyle to quarterback your power play and to eat up those minutes, and then you can shift Burns back to a forward. But obviously it's been kind of so-so with Burns. But it would have been nice to have that added security. And let's say Mirko's not ready, and so far he's been kind of up and down, and where he has his good days where you see glimpses of. Already in my mind, Mirko Mueller is way better than our defensive draft pick, Nick Petrecki, who, played.
Dude, just ask. I'm just going to tell you right now, ask Eric after this shit is over about me going off about defensive picks. He'll be here all day.
I was doing that while you were going, actually.
Yeah,
I was talking a bit about that when you're talking about biggest fails. Just to kind of finish that thought, though.
I like Tennyson right now more than Mueller.
Thank you. Bay Area kid.
At least offensively, I would agree with that. Just real quick to finish that thought on Boyle, though. Like I at least kind of understand the thinking, but my problem comes where we saved that cap room and we didn't really use it. Like when the season started, I think we were something like $6 or $7 million under the cap. I think we're still 4 or 5.
We're at 8
or
so.
I don't get why it might be more than that. Like. We saved that money, but we never used it. Like if that money is such an issue, which I can understand if it could be.
Well, now that we're not selling out anymore,
use the money. Like
we are.
If you're not going to spend it on Dan Boyle, spend it on someone else. And he did.
Ice Girls.
We signed John Scott. That was our big free agent addition of the summer.
Honestly, it's like we had all that money in free agency and. We could have gotten Radim Verbata, and that would have been great. That would have been a legitimate top 6 forward. You could have put that on a line with Hurdle and Thornton, and that would have been fantastic. But we didn't do anything with that. our biggest offseason acquisition was John Scott, which I was kind of like, wait, what?
Our only offseason acquisition was John Scott.
But guys, you're missing the whole point. We're saving money for a huge reason, so that way Hasso could eventually fly back and forth from Germany to here to watch some games.
I think he can. I think he's got the money for that on his own. I don't know if you were making a 95.7 reference there or what.
Yeah, it was a nice subtle dig.
Some serious. That guy got some stacks, some fat stacks.
Oh,
And that's legit.
Yeah, that is legit.
Starting
That
to
is
look
indeed
like-
legit.
Hey, you know what? Hey, John, I've been meaning to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Is there any question from the crispy churro with the zero? I love that username.
Oh, I actually
love
haven't
it.
checked the chat in a while here.
Oh, no questions?
Oh, yes, no, you're saying, I believe it was for best moment, you're saying Kyle McLaren hip check against Peter Pucha.
Oh, Trevor
That
Letowski.
was a good one.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
Trevor
awesome.
Letowski,
That was
yes.
beautiful.
That was awesome.
I have one from our good friend and fellow writer on Pucknology, King Shark 49, the king for being Sacramento Kings. The next positive thing that Shark CEO John Tortora will be his first. And we're tired of Douglas.
Wait, what? What was that?
He says the next positive thing Shark COO John Tortora does will be his first.
That would be correct.
But he signed your checks.
So,
He signed your checks.
You know what? I bet you his signature is shitty. That's how bad this guy is.
That's a cactus.
I mean, dear Lord, and I can't remember if I told you guys this. I know, obviously, this is Gentry's first time, but one of the funniest goddamn things ever was the opening night against Winnipeg. I'm leaving, and I see Tatora at the front door, like saying goodbye to fans, and I even got a photo with the asshole. And the reason being, the reason why I did it, I went up there and I'm like, hey, John Tatora, and he's like, yeah, and I said, can I get a photo with you? He goes, oh yeah, sure, absolutely. And my buddy takes a photo, and as soon as he takes it, I turn around and I said, you screwed up getting rid of Drew, get him back, dude. And he just goes, okay, thanks for coming out. And I'm like, yeah, Then the first time that because I know we hosted Edmonton or we saw Edmonton 3 times in 5 games, but the first time that we hosted them, bizarrely enough and awesomely enough, the dude of all dudes, Drew Remenda, is trolling the mezzanine level, and I see Drew and I get a photo with him. And as soon as I take the photo with him, I turn around and look at him, I shake his hand, I'm like, hey, just to let you know, man, Tatora was here opening night. I gave him a ration of shit for not, resigning you. And Drew just looks at me and goes, did you really? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, dude, that's awesome. It was fantastic, man. It was awesome.
Oh.
Well, here's like a quick little question. What do you guys? How do you grade Jamie Baker co-host or co-announcing with Randy Hahn?
Can I go last? I'll go last.
B plus.
Okay.
I mean, doesn't blow me away. He's pretty decent, but no. He doesn't have Drew Remenda's personality.
Yeah.
And that's the catch, is that somebody's going to have to be the one after Drew. Marty failed miserably the 1 year he was here. That's putting it lightly, but I will rank him above Steve Conroy, that's for sure. Biggs is fine.
And Stemkowski.
But what we're trying to do here is, as we zoom in and trying to rabble-rouse the entire audience,
No.
no, Biggs is fine. Biggs does a good job. We have to get over it. We have to get it out of our heads that he is not Drew Remenda.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the biggest hurdle that has to go over.
I kind of look at Drew Remenda as he was our Empire Strikes Back. He was the perfect, thing ever. He had the great, and then you're having, Return of the Jedi, which is nothing but Ewoks and flashy colors and, kit and user friendly. And that's
okay. Nerd alert. Anyway, I'm really digging. I'm digging Baker, but he doesn't have Drew's personality, and Drew I really like the fact that, and this I think is one of the reasons why Sharks fans were so pissed off when they found out that he was gone, is that he would take the Sharks to task when they came out flat, and he would say some biting words, whereas Baker has pointed it out a few times, but he doesn't have that biting, let's be honest, we're never going to respect Baker until he has an out-and-out, just a total meltdown with Ray Ratto, but that's the whole thing, is that Drew just had the personality. The thing that I do really, really like about Baker is the fact that he will try to put you in a player's head, but the thing that I really appreciate about him is his back and forth with fans on Twitter. It took forever to get Drew on Twitter, and he was on there for about 3 weeks, and then he was like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate the fact that Baker will interact with the fans on there, just like Randy does, just like Russo does. Hetty, he's a bit of a bitch, but other than that, he's not that cool.
Blocked by Brett Hedican.
Yeah, he's not that cool on Twitter. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about Brett Hedican. I'm talking about Brett for Hedican. It's a difference.
Oh.
So it's Chris knows what I'm talking about. But anyway, let me see. Okay. Oh, fantastic question. What do you want to see from the Sharks on and off the ice on the Epics series?
Great question.
And that is from the best username ever, the Crispy Churro with the 0. I love that. I love that. I wish I would have thought of that, man.
I want to see unfeathered access. I want to see what this team is like after a win and after a loss, because I really want to see who steps up in the locker room, because we've always talked about the culture in the locker room, during difficult games, during losses, and during wins. I want to see firsthand who steps up, and and also how Todd McClellan rips into these guys when they have a horrible period, and it's just like, so you guys are being outshot 11-1, step it up, act like you guys are playing act like you guys are getting paid millions of dollars to play a game, I'm looking to see who is the best personality, because we're not going to get an Ilya Bryzgalov personality, so humongous.
Ooh, I don't know. I think Burnsy might be out there. I think Burnsy might challenge Bryzgalov for that.
Burns is going to eat pizza through every interview.
He's just going to come across as kind of the out there kind of guy. I'm curious to see who the leaders are going to who the leaders are. I think some of the young guys are actually probably pretty vocal. I just get that impression from hearing them talk and all that, and you see the pregame when they're all talking about their holiday sweater song. It sounds like Matt Nieto is actually kind of a bit of Matt Nieto from Long Beach is kind of one of the ringleaders of all the shenanigans and stuff around there. So I don't know. I'd be curious to see. I'm kind of curious to see how vocal Joe Thornton and Patrick Marleau actually are. Not, of course, if they aren't, that's just gonna throw more logs in the whole fire of they suck. That narrative, but
Let me ask you this: how interesting did you think it was that last year's Christmas video where where John Turturro is doing the "I signed your check" and Hurdle's at the kids' table, but there was a feature of Burns and Marleau underneath the tree unwrapping presents. The big names were featured. How telling did you think it was that in the holiday sweater there was no Marleau, there was no Burns, there was no Thornton, there was no Pavelski, there was no Couture. All the big name players were not involved in that video whatsoever.
I think it had more to do with just the vibe of the video. I think it kind of had a more goofy, younger guy kind of vibe anyways, because I don't think it was expressly to exclude, in our marketing, we seem to have made a concentrated effort to exclude Marleau and Thornton, because I would have figured if they were doing that, they would still probably have had Vlasic or Couture or Pavelski in there. I just think it was kind of a younger oriented thing, and they're all being a bunch of goofballs and rapping and shit.
All right, I'll give you that. I just, at this point, I'm such a conspiracy theorist. Whenever it comes to anything that excludes Marlowe or Thornton, I'm just going,
Also,
oh man, they can't wait to get rid of him.
oh well, I think it mostly comes down to the rapping skills of Marlowe and Thornton and Pavelski. I don't see them having any rhyme skills whatsoever. I mean, if
Yeah,
you
because
want somebody,
John Scott laid it down so hard.
Oh, he did though. It was actually pretty funny. But I would also I can't even imagine Couture trying to rap like.
Yeah, dude.
which is funny
All you
because
have
he's a
to do,
huge Drake fan.
dude. If it was any wider, they might as well just like brought out like a bottle of mayonnaise with like a holiday sweater wearing it. I mean, holy crap!
But come on.
It was good though. I did.
It was good.
We all know Jovo Pavelski really worked in the ghetto in Wisconsin, though, guys.
Yeah, the ghetto of Wisconsin.
Or
That block between 3rd and 4th Street in Wisconsin. Yeah.
He was doing them rap battles in Wisconsin, in Wisco, as they call it.
Jokes and spaghetti. All right.
Called
All right.
America.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't.
All right. Calm down. Okay, so let's look forward, shall we? So we got the Maple Leafs coming to town. How do we feel about that? Like, really? Like, should Thornton even play that game? Like, do the Leafs suck that bad?
Well, they're on a streak right now. They're 3-7 in their last 10, so not doing well.
But that's the whole point.
That's not good.
That's
not good for the Sharks.
Tell us how it is, Troy.
They've been struggling. Not scoring many goals. That's not good.
What's your name?
Yeah, guys. Okay, guys, got to finish strong here. So predictions for the Maple Leafs game here.
No, fuck that. Aren't we on like a 7-game homestand coming up? Well, we need to do a predictions for the stand.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, we actually have a whole homestand here coming up.
Right.
So
that's right.
It's the homestand then. So we have the Maple Leafs, the Flames, the Devils, the Kings, the Ducks, the Blackhawks, and the Oilers. So while you guys are all thinking through what your pick is, I'll go ahead and I'm gonna say
3 and 4.
Yeah, screw you. I'm gonna say 3-2-2. That's what my gut's kind of telling me. I think I see a few games in there like the Kings and the Blackhawks. I think those are going to be. I want to say they have a good shot, but like the way I haven't seen that kind of spark from them in a while, that makes me think they can take those teams down in regulation or even in overtime. So I'm going to chalk those two up as losses. Say 1 or 2 of those end up in overtime. I think they beat the Maple Leafs, the Flames, and the Oilers at the very least.
For me, I'd say they go 4-2-1. They lose to LA in a shootout. I think they lose to Chicago and Anaheim. Regulation and everything else is a win. This is where the Sharks couldn't step up. I mean, they have a good chance that they could get 5 wins on this homestand, and you need to solidify that home ice advantage because they haven't won since that first St. Louis game before Christmas at home, and so it's something that they really need to jump on and quickly soon. Gentry.
I really think that they should utilize Stalock a little bit more in this homestand. I'm really hoping he gets the start on Thursday against Toronto.
What is your prediction?
Oh, my prediction for each of I think
for the 7 games, what's the record that they go in?
You know what? I'm going to be more optimistic. I'm going to go 5-7.
Oh, Gentry, you ignorant slut.
Here's the thing, because I really want them to win on Metallica night.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
Same here, and I really want them to win.
Well, you know what? We got to hook up at ISO beers beforehand or something.
Oh, hell yeah. But here's the thing, is if Metallica doesn't actually perform live, Seek and Destroy, it will not be worth the money, the price of admission.
Honestly, I figured it was just going to be like James and Kirk doing the national anthem. That's all I expected.
But having
I'll take that.
I'm fine with just seeing Metallica around the Shark Tank. Wouldn't mind, but they should have Toronto. They should have Calgary. Calgary's in a bit of a slump right now. Same with the Devils. I would love to see them shock everybody and beat the Kings. They aren't gonna win against Chicago. Chicago's too good right now, and I say that Edmonton yet again shocks the world and beats the Sharks. So I think that would be my second loss. But it's
what's your final? Out of 7 games, what's the record after the 7?
He said 5-2.
5-2. Okay, what'd you say, Eric? What'd you say,
I said
Eric?
14-1.
And what'd you say, Chris?
I said 3-2-2.
I'm gonna go 4-1-2.
Ooh.
Yes, I think they can beat the Leafs. I think they can beat the Flames. I think they can beat the Devils. I think they can go on a actually, with the Coyotes went tonight, I think they can go on a 4-run tear. Then they lose to the Kings, beat the Ducks, go to overtime against the Blackhawks, and beat the Oilers. So, because we seem to have had the Ducks numbers all night, or their number all season long. Don't know why. But just to digress for a second, no, I had a really good time talking to a couple buddies of mine about Metallica Night coming up. For those of you watching who don't know, next Wednesday at the Tank. But we thought it would be really great if, like, James Hetfield did the national anthem, just because we always get a really good time having fun with the way he sings, because we think it would just be one of the best things ever to hear him say, "Oh, say, can you see?
Yeah.
By the dawn's early light."
I know they did the Giants like earlier in the year. Like I think it was just a guitar.
Yeah, it's just
guitar
guitar.
anthem where one guy kind of put a snap underneath, and then you kind of just did the.
Hold on. Well, it looks like we have people in the East Bay raising their hands to ask a question. Go ahead, gentlemen.
My thing is that I've been a diehard Metallica fan since I was been younger, and
Since you've been younger, have you ever been older than you are now?
Yes, of course.
Oh my God, dude! You're like the person that says, "Here's a picture of me when I was younger," as if you could ever take a picture of when you were older.
Well, there's 2 versions of me. There's fat me, and then there's skinny me. So.
Okay, is this like the Rob Lowe thing? I'm super creepy, Rob Lowe.
Well, here's the thing: is that I still think cable is better than dish, but
Yeah.
But no, I feel like I really hope that there's a little meet and greet with whoever from Metallica is there, because that'd be cool. And I've heard that the Metallica shirts, the exclusive little shirts, aren't going to be ready for the people who bought single tickets.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's going to be delayed a week or so. So because apparently the season ticket holders, those bastards, could buy upwards of 6, T-shirts, and they sold out quickly.
All right, let me ask you one question, Gentry. Not trying to be an asshole, because it just comes naturally. But were you even alive when Kill 'Em All came out? I'm just wondering.
No.
Oh, Gentry, you ignorant slut. Okay.
But I was alive during the best album, which was Black Album, and then I was born after it.
You think that's their best album?
Come on, dude.
Okay, never mind.
Oh, please. It was Saint Anger. That was the best.
Get out.
Dude,
Get out.
Dude, it is literally a tie between Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets, but okay.
Yeah.
I
was born a year after Master of Puppets, and then I was.
Why are we letting him on here again?
Because I got a beard.
Oh, is that what it is? I figured it was your devastating Dan Boyle man crush, but okay, I'll give it to you.
Oh, wow.
Hi-yo, we're only being serious here. All right, well, I know Chris has to exit somewhat soon, so and he's kind of running the show here, folks. So he what he says goes. So we've dealt with the Arizona 3-2 win tonight. I still think it should have been 4-2. Nieto got hosed on a BS call, but that means it was a Sharks game. And like we said, we got the Leafs coming up on Thursday, which should be I'm going to call it right now, should be a 3-0, 3-1 win, which means it'll probably be a 4-4 overtime affair.
As long as we get the win, it's just we should win a game, whether it's ugly or not.
And let me just put this out there now, if you are going to the Toronto game and you are sitting in section 226, if you do not want your glasses, I would like to have them. So I'm just putting that out there now, because they are giving out the sunglasses and the fan cards to the the authentic fan section in 226. Other than that, we've got 39. That's right, count them. Couture Friesen days until the
Stadium Series.
The Stadium Series, and Eric has the buttons for the tweet ups all ret to go.
Yep, and we have a number of things. Well, the one I can tell you is that group is trying to kind of revive the Hammerhead Booster Club. They're calling it the Teal City Crew. They will be out in full force with a whole bunch of stuff. There's another thing that I still can't say anything about, but it's...
Can I get in on this for a second?
Sure.
Teal City, bitch. Teal City, bitch. Okay, go ahead.
There's one more thing I can't tell you about, but it's going to be something I've always wanted to give out, or something that I've always wished the Sharks would give out.
Oh my God! It's his virginity. He's doing it.
How much on eBay? What's his starting bid?
I hate you all.
That's right. For the lucky winner, we have herpes. All right.
Shame is guaranteed.
Wow.
All right, go ahead.
I'm just no. It's not herpes. Wow, we've lost our minds. No, it's something that'll be really cool to have, and it'll be hella cool if you know what I'm saying.
So it is herpes. Okay.
No, that's not.
Will it last forever, Eric?
There's a lot of hotel rooms that are booked in Santa Clara for that after the game, so who knows? With that, I think we need to wrap this up before we start getting into trailing from Sharks to Loveline.
Before the FCC pulls our license.
Yes.
I can play the role of Adam Carolla here.
Good
time. Hey, John.
Hey, John.
All right, but before Eric wraps it up, we do need to check in with our resident unemployed air personality, Mr. Troy Clarity.
Oh, yes. Go ahead,
Troy, go ahead.
Well, can't think of too many things about the Sharks say tonight. Not a lot to say. Guess that's not good. Might end up getting fired from my radio gig if I don't have anything to talk about. So about those Warriors, that's pretty good. And there you go.
What's my name?
Okay, Eric, you can wrap this up.
Oh, God. Please, let's get this out of here.
And hopefully we can pull this shit off again on Thursday after the Maple Leafs game.
Yeah,
It might not be all four of us, but hopefully a couple of us show up and the churro with the zero.
Crispy churro with the zero.
That's right.
Love you, bro. Thank you for listening. And we are working on increasing the production value around here. It's just
oh, come on, my jerseys aren't good enough.
Dude, I gotta be honest with you, dude. Gentry, honestly, half the time you were talking, I was watching highlights over your left shoulder. I'm just saying.
Well, Andrew Petrillo is doing NHL Tonight, of course.
This is what I'm saying. But Gentry was talking, I'm going, dude, there's a guy getting carted off in the Dallas-Ottawa game.
What's going on up there?
I wanted to keep it within the theme, so.
There you go. I got it on behind me. It's just my TV's so amazingly bad that you can't really see it.
Amazingly sparkly, dude.
It is. I have to. I have contrast issues. All right, come on, Eric.
Oh,
just
boy.
shut
Let's
us down.
get
Let's be on
out of
Thursday,
here.
man. Shut it
Yeah.
down.
Let's go home.
With Thursday. Keep it real. Keep it fresh. Keep it real fresh. Get us off fire, please. Oh my God.
Peace the fuck out.
Double deuces.